Hello and thank you for joining us today. This time the video is about automated shop drawings. As a demo model, we have half of a rectangular frame, which is just a handful of welded assemblies of different beams. But everything can be shown on it, and the number of drawings remains manageable. We do not start in the drawings section, but in the BOM management that opens on the right. Here, in the position numbers area, we click on refresh and start the equal parts detection to assign the position numbers. As we can see, the parts and welded assemblies were correctly recognized. Here both are identical and were combined. The columns are mirror symmetrical but not identical, and this was also recognized, and so two position numbers were assigned. This completes the preparation for the drawings. We simply start the drawing function by clicking on it here at the top, and you may be surprised to see that the equal part detection is performed again. Don't worry, this is not a bug, it's important, but I'll show you why later with an example. Here we have the drawing manager with a list of all components. The drawing called Sketch Part 1 is always listed at the top with the position number 1. This is the overview drawing of the entire assembly, including the BOM, which you can easily recognize by the assembly icon in the type column. The other icons for weldments, beams, and plates are also easy to recognize and help you stay organized. At the top we can select global actions. For example, we can choose not to create any drawings at all. This is useful when you have a large number of possible drawings and only want to create a few of them. It also works the other way around if we want to create almost all drawings and then just disable a few in the action column. The same applies for the template size. It is always best to select the most appropriate sheet size globally, and then assign individual templates to specific drawings that are larger or smaller. We should also assign an order number, which will become part of the drawing and file name, as you can see in the right column. The default export path is always the folder in which the assembly is saved and can of course be customized. As already mentioned, the order number has become part of the drawing name, but we can also rename everything here according to our own preferences if we like. I'll just click export so we can take a look at the drawings. The A0 sheet size, which I hadn't changed, is huge, which is why the title blocks are relatively small as you can see here. But in general, you can see the computer at work when exporting drawings, and you can see a sneak preview of the automatically dimensioned drawings. At the end of the export, we get a notification and we can look at the result. Here we have our folder named with the order number, with subfolders sorted by Assembly, Beam, Plate and WCA, which stands for Welded Component Assemblies. Let's look in the Assembly folder where the drawing we just renamed to Overview Sheet is located. No big surprises here, just two different drawings and an isometric view. The bill of materials here contains all the parts for the entire assembly. The welded assemblies are the more interesting part of the drawings. In the open dialog, you can always see the preview of the drawing on the left. Let's open the first one. As you can see, a smaller sheet size, perhaps a quarter, would have been sufficient. However, we can also take a closer look at the drawings on the large sheet and see a dimensioned column here. The dimensioning here was done in chain dimensioning, but you can also set ordinate dimensioning as the standard in the settings. Here on the left, there is a little overlap in the dimensions, so we would have to pull one dimension up a little by hand to make everything readable. Some manual work remains, but overall all parts such as ribs are reliably dimensioned automatically, and break lines are automatically added for long parts as can be seen here. The bill of materials is also available here, but now only with the components included in the welded assembly. Let's take a look at the individual part drawings, for example on a beam. The whole pattern is now also automatically dimensioned. The hole diameter information is not optimal and could be moved around a bit. But all in all, it should be clear by now that the drawing function can save you a lot of time. For completeness, let's take a look at a sheet, for example, the counterpart to the beam we just saw. Again, the dimensions are in chain dimensions. Let's take a look at the SolidSteel parametric settings. Under Export we find the submenu Drawings, and here we can choose between ordinate, chain or none for dimension type and thus influence the dimensioning type in the drawings. While we're at it, just a note that you can also set an individual drawing template here at the bottom under Templates. Okay, we have exported our drawings. Take another look at the 3D window, and we notice that the stage beam is not yet connected to the rest. No problem, we can do this quickly with a custom connection, so select cross beam and end beam, select our prepared double clip angle connection and confirm. The first side is finished. We should now do the same on the other side, but to show what I want to show, this single change is enough and I start the drawings feature again. The equal part detection starts again, and at the beginning of the video I mentioned that I would show why this is important. Here we see the result, and at the same time the explanation of why it is so important to check again that all the parts have remained the same. The two horizontal weldments were previously identical. Now that the joint has added two holes and a rib on the back of one of them, they are no longer identical, and this is indicated by a prominent exclamation mark on all affected drawings in the Drawing Manager. Of course, this is all very clear in our small example, but in a large assembly with hundreds of parts, you can't remember every change, and you don't know if one of your colleagues might have changed something that you don't even know about. The additional equal part detection takes time and is therefore a bit annoying, but this time is really well spent and avoids expensive mistakes. By the way, this here, where the existing drawing column is empty, are the small L profiles of the new connection. We cancel, of course, and take a look at how to fix it. We open BOM Management and update the position numbers. The critical positions are also clearly displayed here. To resolve the existing conflict, we use the clear position number function and do the same for the welded assembly above. Now another position number update follows, and as we can see, the previously combined positions have been converted into new, separate positions. We now have 5 welded assemblies and this one is no longer identical to this one. Now we can start the drawing process as usual, and we will not see any more warnings. But we will see some places where there are no drawings yet and therefore need to be created. I'm going to open a more complex drawing of a small staircase with a railing that we'd like to create workshop drawings for, just to show another more complex drawing that includes some angles. The process is exactly the same as before, with position number update, with equal part detection, starting the drawing feature, assigning the order number, and the actual export, now in fast forward as we already know it. The stair stringer is a good example. We have a lot of holes, the angles could be placed differently. Maybe more like this. And this whole diameter should be moved. A drawing like this, with dimensions, break lines, etc., takes a lot of time to create manually, and is created automatically in no time at all, not to mention possible changes later on. So give it a try, it works with the free express version as well, and if you want to know how to build such a staircase, just have a look at the video suggested here. See you next time and thanks for watching.